What is up? What is up? Hello, hello. Let me get this up. Video is uploading for the NBA. Didn't even really want to do it. 2-game slate on a Saturday where there's a ton of baseball slates across all the sites. But there's a $50K prize pool for Draftkings, and probably not going to play it, honestly. But I'm going to be looking into baseball. I'll kind of share on this my little baseball target offense sheet that I'm doing. Again, have not had the time. Now that the NBA is coming to a close, today will probably be a good day to work on the baseball sheet. But we'll see what I get into. Got a lot of other things that I'd like to work on today and as well as tomorrow. But yeah, let me get this chat just kind of launched a little bit, I guess. Put this here. Once I get another screen and I don't have to be this mobile, this would be great. So don't know if anybody's really going to be watching this. It is a 9:37 in the morning, East Coast time. I will actually talk baseball if you guys want. But I won't know too much about the baseball part, just in terms of giving you individualized plays, because I played baseball once, and that was opening day. I have not played much baseball. I've been focusing on Draftkings NBA, which has actually been quite well. A lot of people hate it. Yesterday was the first crazy, wacky stuff that we've got in the NBA thus far. We have not had that much crazy things going on until last night, when everybody between 5 and 6K, and even 4 and 6K, and 3K if you want to go all the way down to Ray Spalding, seemed like they were going for 50 plus. Who did we have last night that went for 50 plus below that range? Or we can just say 45 plus on the cheap end. We had Ray Spalding. We had, I believe Bender did it. I didn't see Bender's final score. I believe he did it. I mean, we could look at DK Live right now. I know that we had Spalding, we had him, we had Bender, we had Josh Jackson drop a goddamn 60 burger. Alex Caruso drops damn near 60. What are we going to? Friday. Yeah, I didn't recap it. I had DeLon Wright, so wow, yeah, we got a lot. I felt good yesterday. I had DeLon Wright, I had Mario Hezonja, I had Josh Jackson, and it still did not matter. A high scoring slate. Mainline scores in the 330s, and I mean, for the most part, don't win anything major. Having DeLon Wright go for 70 at somewhat high ownership and Hezonja around 60 at somewhat high hurts a little bit when you have a guy like Drummond going for 25 who gets in foul trouble in the first 5 minutes of the game. That stinks. But yeah, lots of guys, like cheap end guys, going for 60 plus. DeLon Wright at 6,500, 10xing. A crazy night in the NBA in the first real one we've had. Alex Caruso's 60 burger. What was his line? 32 real points, 10 rebounds. Ridiculous. Josh Jackson absolutely goes nuts. Almost triple dubs. Mario Hezonja triple dubs, like at the starting point guard. So some crazy things. Gallo had what would be his ceiling game. Ray Spalding, obviously. Oh yeah, here's the guys right here. Bender and Crawford even. So yeah, what I'm going to do here is the video is uploading. It will be uploaded in a matter of minutes. So if you're not seeing this live, just go watch the video. I'm just going to take questions, whether it's on the MLB, whether it's on DFS in general, whether it's on NBA. If you've been here while I let these videos upload before, it's just all questions from me. So if you're coming in, any question you have, literally on anything, I will answer it to the best of my ability. So just drop it in. I imagine there's not going to be many people in here. Again, it is a Saturday morning. The information does say NBA-based stuff here, but you don't have to worry about that. I'll talk about any sport. So yeah, drop in the chat right now. I just want to say what's going on. The video just uploaded, so it'll take some time. See what else happened last night. Pope goes for a 45-point game. Larry Nance, who I thought was in a very good position once we got the news that Love was out. I tried to get there. Goddamn, Courtney Lee goes for 43. Frank Kaminsky goes for 40. Ian Clark, 42. Just so many guys dropping over 40. Wow, Shia went for 42. That hurts. So let me tell you about a pivot. Thoughts on Milwaukee minutes? Yeah, I'll talk about that, Bill. What's going on, Bill? I had a pivot last night, and I had it in for a good 15 minutes until I went off of it. I had Shia, SGA, and Ray Spalding. So, I mean, that accounts for, what, 93 fantasy points right there if you start them. I didn't pivot off of Josh Jackson, who I felt great about. And then between Troy Daniels and Okubo, I went with Okubo. And he stunk, 14 points. So those guys combined for 74. Obviously, these guys combined for 92. So that's another 20 points that was left on the table. Loved SGA against the Lakers. Just a dream matchup for any type of point guard. But Spalding, I didn't think would get to 50. I thought, okay, if Spalding gets 35, I really do feel like Josh Jackson could ceiling game here. So overall, not a great night for me. Team scores 330. Not a great night. Only was playing small field, bigger Small field, high buy-in, the 333 I played, the $100 single entry. Not great overall, but it's good. We're up overall in the week. Yeah, Bill, I'll talk about the Milwaukee minutes, and I have a pretty good take on this. Look, they're not playing for anything, right? They're locked into the 1 seed. Brooklyn is actually playing for something, tied right now for the 7 seed / 8 seed with Detroit, with Miami only a game back. So Brooklyn's clearly playing for stuff. Milwaukee, I imagine they're all going. Giannis, he wants to play. I imagine that Giannis knows that James Harden is right on his neck for MVP, which I don't believe is that close, but I'm sure a lot of writers will believe it's that close. I think the Milwaukee minutes are fine here. I think that Bledsoe getting thrown out in the last game, I think he sees 32. I have him projected for 32. I have Middleton projected for 33. I have Giannis projected for a full go at 34. Now, it's a 2-game slate. If Giannis gets 30 minutes, I still feel very confident in Giannis, a guy who's averaging 1.8 fantasy points. Actually, it might be 1.9 now, fantasy points per minute since the trade deadline. This guy is just absolutely incredible. If I know I'm getting 30 minutes out of Giannis today, which I think we can pretty confidently say, maybe not pretty confidently, but in terms of his minutes being limited, if he's limited, it's probably going to be around 28 to 30. I don't think he'll be limited. I think he'll be fine. On a 2-game slate, I want the guy who's averaging 1.9 points per minute, especially if Joel Embiid goes out, because then there's really nobody else who has a ceiling in the 70s today. There is nobody else if Joel Embiid is out with a ceiling in the 70s. And that's what I want to have. So I think the minutes are fine. In terms of the secondary options, here's something to consider with Sterling Brown specifically, and I guess it will affect Pat Connaughton as well. Sterling Brown 3 games ago was the Hawk game. All of those guys sat out, so Sterling Brown got his first 30-minute game. He was playing 24 and 26 minutes the 2 games before that, once he started getting incorporated into the rotation more. So that was the Hawks game. I don't look into anything in that because 4 starters were out for the Bucks. The next game, Chris Middleton is out. Sterling Brown plays again, mid-30s in minutes. All right. The next game, Eric Bledsoe, last game, gets thrown out within, I don't know, the first quarter, whatever it was. And then Sterling Brown goes over 30 minutes again. Now, Brown started that game, so it gives me a little bit more confidence that Brown's minutes, even if all of these Bucks are healthy, especially since that they have clinched number 1 overall now, and you might see closer to 30 minutes instead of 33 to 34 for Bledsoe, for Middleton. It gives me confidence in that Brown's minutes, if he continues to start, stay around 30 today. But somebody's going to lose some minutes there if we can say that the Bucks go full go. It's hard for me to really see the Bucks going full go, but right now, based on what we're getting reports of, Giannis wanting to play the full go, Bledsoe being fine and rested, Middleton would be the only one I'm worried about in terms of rest. I'm sure we get that news before the lock. Pat Connaughton or Sterling Brown, I imagine, have to get a bump in terms of their minutes. They both can't continue to play mid-30s in minutes or low 30s in minutes if we're going to project fair or normal minutes for the rest of these big guys. And that's what I'm doing right now personally. I'm projecting, like I said, Giannis for 34, Middleton 33, Bledsoe 32. I think that Brook Lopez's minutes are fine, and then wherever you want to go from there. I think that the biggest thing is Connaughton and Brown. If Brown continues to start, I think you knock Connaughton down closer to 26 minutes and give Brown his 30 to 32. But you can bump that up to 28 if you really want to, because it's pretty easy to take 2 minutes away from Bledsoe there and give Bledsoe 30 today and give Connaughton 28. So that's where I'm at with the Milwaukee minutes. I'm starting it out at least early in the morning. What my projections have right now is the minutes for these guys, and I could double check that, being completely normal. Maybe I should knock Giannis down to 32. I have Giannis at his 34. Love Bledsoe. He would be pissed after the ejection. Yeah, right? He's a bulldog. He's that type of guy. He is a guy that this Bucks team has played once, I believe, in the last 4 or 5 days, and he has not played in any of those games because he's been kicked out of the game for the most part. I think Bledsoe's fine. I like his price point. I think you can get to anybody you want on this slate. 32 minutes I have Bledsoe in today for. Middleton I have 34. 34 on Middleton might be a bit high. I'm going to run Middleton back to 33. And we'll give that minute to probably Sterling Brown, who's at 28 for me. I'm going to put Sterling Brown at 30. And where do we have Pat Connaughton? If Connaughton's going to come off the bench, I'm fine putting Connaughton. Let's put him at 27. What's going on, Joe? How you doing? Giannis I have at 34. That's just where I have him. You could very easily go Giannis 32, and it's not going to change how much I like him today on a 2-game slate. Look, it's a 2-game slate. You're either paying for Giannis and Embiid or both of them. The other options for you are paying for D'Angelo Russell, who's also fine today, but you have Ben Simmons at 9K. There's not many options I want to go to. If Embiid's in, and this video I'll talk about it all. If Embiid's in, it's pretty tough for me, and if you want to look at all the salaries here, it's pretty tough for me if Embiid's in to want to get to 9K Ben Simmons on this type of slate. And then with the injuries today, the salaries drop right down to Bledsoe around 7K, right? If we get news that Embiid and Butler are out, this slate becomes just very, very interesting in terms of you don't have a ton to choose from. It pretty much makes Giannis automatic even at 30 minutes because who else is going to be a shoo-in for 50 points today? Yeah, you can get it out of Russell, you can get it out of Simmons, especially if Embiid and Butler's out, but not as often as you're going to get it from Giannis. Price indicates that, of course. If Embiid and Butler are out, it's pretty easily for me Ben Simmons being probably the best play on the slate at 9K, and then Giannis right there with him. Build around those guys. Get whatever else you can get into your lineup. Good, always missing your live shows. Just glad to make it. Yeah, Joe, thanks. The live shows are something that I've just been doing. I used them as my primary show earlier on. Now I'm just using them as the buffer between the video uploading and just giving me a time to chat, since usually during that time I just watch YouTube anyways. So, yeah. Which I think Bledsoe put up 60 against Brooklyn a couple of games ago. ABC got 50. Yeah, I think Bledsoe's in a great spot. He has a great matchup. Bledsoe right now, for me, projects point per dollar better than majority of players on this slate, and I could look at that. I don't really look too much into that last game, though. I don't think Eric Bledsoe is going to be putting up 60 points every single game against Brooklyn. It's just not going to happen. So the fact that he did it the last game would actually lead me to believe that he won't do it this game, because how often does Eric Bledsoe put up 60? Yeah, Bill, it could 100% happen again, but the odds of Eric Bledsoe going for 60 on most nights are, I don't know, 5% of the time he'll go for a 60-point game. That happening on back-to-back nights, even against the same team, I don't know. Brooklyn needs to make the playoffs. I think they'll make adjustments. I do like Bledsoe today. Let's see what I have him at in terms of just... Eric Bledsoe, I have at 32 minutes today. I have him at 1.1 points per minute. Or actually, I have him at 1.23 is what the projected will be, but I'm going off of the 1.1. I have him at 39.36 fantasy points today. That's over-hitting value. So right around 40 points I have Bledsoe projected for today, and I think that that's absolutely fine. Obviously, it's a median projection. The guy could go for 60, like you said, Bill, but that would be more tournament-based. In terms of cash, I have him for 40. And again, the prices are weird today. Philly still needs a win to stay up 1 on Boston. I think that Embiid is a go tonight. How many minutes you think? Right now, I think I have Embiid playing 32 minutes tonight. That's what I have right now out of Embiid. Do they need a win? I thought they were pretty much locked in. Did losing that last game kind of affect them? And did Boston win last night? Because then that makes sense. So they're up a game and a half. They're up a game and a half on the Celtics. I think they're all but locked into that 3 seed. What is there, 3 games left? They're up a game and a half on the Celtics. Yeah, I think they're all but locked into the 3 seed. And keep in mind, they are playing the G League Bulls today, so they'll be up a game and a half with 2 games to play. Joel Embiid will not be needed today. They could play their backups with Ben Simmons, and they would pretty handily defeat this Bulls team. So they're up a game and a half with 3 to play. So 3 to play, right? What does this add up to? Yeah, 79 games. They have 3 games to play, including today. And Boston has only 2 games left. So yeah, it's pretty. They're locked into that 3 seed. No bones. I don't think they're worried about the Celtics catching them. Because the 76ers are up a game and a half, and Boston has 2 games left to play. So the Sixers would have to lose all 3 of their games, and Boston would have to win out their last 2 games to make it. I don't think that happens, especially when you take into account that the Sixers today are playing the Bulls. So they are locked into the 3 seed by all accounts. It might not be a locked button yet, but it is virtually a lock button. So no, I do not think that that's going to put any emphasis on if Embiid plays or not today. I would think that that has no impact, personally. I could put the user on a timeout. No, that's not what I wanted. Bang. Sorry, just had to run and see the slate. Just 2 games. I thought they were locked at 3. No, they're locked at 5, so you're good, Joe. Embiid, ABC if both play, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, if both play, in your opinion, you want Embiid over ABC. I prefer... Yeah, look, the pricing makes Embiid more attractive. I think they're both fine plays. I have Giannis projected for significantly more points today. I have Giannis for 7 more fantasy points than Embiid today, and on a 2-game slate, I like that. If you can get both once again today, I think that is completely fine. I think the value is a lot harder to find, but it's there. Can't wait to see another Giannis and Embiid game. That the other night was crazy with 170 DK points. Yeah, Joe, that's how it's been every game. These guys have just been going off. Giannis has scored 80+ in both games. Embiid, I think, scored now 70 in every single game in terms of fantasy. Yeah, it's gonna be fun if we see those teams match up in the playoffs, that's for sure. Yeah, Sixers need 1 to lock down the 3. Yeah, they don't even need 1. Like, I mean, they do. Like, in terms of if they win tonight, it's over, which I greatly imagine they win tonight. I don't see these Bulls beating them. But they just need Boston to lose one of their last 2, which is very, very in the cards, I would say. I don't think Boston's too worried about winning. What about D'Lo with the Nets needing to win? What's up, Governor? Yeah, I think D'Lo with the Nets needing to win is completely fine. He's 9,100, and it's going to depend on a lot of things for me. There's a couple different ways you can go with this slate, right? You can go, which is the way every single person will go. It's a 2-game slate. Ownership will be high. Giannis will be the highest owned player, as he probably should be. And you could probably go there. As of right now, I think Giannis would be the highest owned player just because you don't have that sort of upside. With Embiid's questionable tag, his ownership will be suppressed. Same with Butler's. You can go up to Giannis, and you can try and just fit in the rest from there. I haven't built a lineup yet. I'll probably play, but I don't know yet. Or you can go, if Embiid is out, and I think this is pretty viable, go Ben Simmons because he is by far the most attractive play on the Phillies team if we get news that Embiid is out. And if Butler is out with Simmons, or if Butler is out with Embiid, then Simmons is maybe the best play on the slate if you take into account his price. The ceiling quickly becomes in the 60s for Ben Simmons at that point, especially against his Bulls team. He's 9K. I prefer him well over D'Angelo Russell in that situation. If Embiid's in, I prefer D'Lo for $100 more. D'Lo, yes, they need to win today. D'Lo should be playing upper point of his minutes, which is around 34. I have him projected for today. 33 I have him projected for. To be exact today, I believe. Where is he? 33 is what I have him projected for today. So I prefer D'Lo if we get news that Embiid is in. If he's out, Ben Simmons by a wide margin over D'Lo for me. So yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with Simmons today or Russell today. Bill says, thanks, Sal. Love your takes, bud. Yeah, thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. 37 people in here. What's going on, everybody? The video is up. The video just needs to be edited. And by edited, I mean just set to go out. So I'll do that right now since it's pretty much up. Yeah, right, technically, yeah. Which bums, I mean Bulls, stand out to you the most? I like that. Sorry, I'm going to multitask and just do this here. But I'll answer that question. Which bums stand out to me the most, right? Today's the 6th, right? So to me today, the ones that stand out the most are by far Wayne Lamont Jr. He's still only like $50 to $100. When you talk about other people in that range like Joe Harris, I'd much rather have Lamont Jr. The man will drive, the man will get assists, and he's going to play 30 minutes and be productive. Look, he's only been playing in the NBA for like 3 or 4 games this year now, averaging 1.1 points per minute. Something to point out. He is being productive. So I do like him. I like Lamont Jr. He obviously is the one that you want to go to. And then number 2 is Sampson, Jakar Sampson. Playing big minutes in the 30s and being extremely productive, 1.2 point per minute guy. If there's no Embiid, this guy's going to be that much better today. So for me, it's going to go Lamont Jr. 1, Sampson 2. If Embiid's out, it'll go Sampson 1, Lamont Jr. 2. They're very close for me. And then Shaq Harrison, he's $6,200, but you're going to get the locked-in mid-30s minutes with upside from Harrison. I don't really have any interest in Wayne Selden. I will say that Ryan Arcidiacono, as bad as he is, a .75 guy on the year, with all these guys being out the last 2 or 3 weeks, he's actually averaging a point per minute. It's over like a 200-minute, 150-minute span, so it's not a huge sample, but he is averaging a point per minute. The problem is his minutes aren't there, right? He's playing 20 minutes as of late, but if for some reason he gets thrown into the starting lineup today, I would have some Ryan Arcidiacono, especially on a slate where if you want to actually take down a top prize today, you probably can't just go, you can never go all chalk, but you can't just go by the book today. You're going to have to do something different, whether it's playing a Zakar Smith for his 17 minutes if Jimmy Butler's out, or Ryan Arcidiacono for his 20 minutes and hope for more. What am I doing here? Put this here. Bang, bang, bang. All right. Other questions. So yeah, no bones for me. For the Bulls, it is Lamont Jr., it is Jakar Sampson, pretty close to each other, and then it's Shaq Harrison. The price on Harrison I don't love, but again, 6,200. Not only is it one of the more expensive prices on this slate, which is crazy, it's also one of the cheaper ones. It's a mid-range option, right? That's pretty obvious, but on this slate, the viable plays literally drop from the big two guys in terms of, or you could put it with the big four with D'Lo and Simmons up in that 9K and above range, and then it just drops off to the low 7K range pretty quickly with the Eric Bledsoes, with the Middletons, and then you get into that Harrison range. What am I looking for? You're in Greensburg, PA, a couple hours from State College. Nice. Yeah, I'm at State College right now. Doing a little thing. Got to do some schoolwork this weekend. Meh. Yeah. Today is Saturday, the 6th. Bang, bang, bang. We're locked and loaded right there. Let me just answer a text message. At least not two game of all scrubs. Yeah, at least there's not 2 games of all scrubs, right? Like we've been getting as of late. Hold on, guys and girls. Let me just answer this text message. Cool. Let me see. How do you feel about him only taking 5 shots the other night against Milwaukee? Who only took 5 shots? D'Lo only took 5 shots? I don't think so. Oh, the other night in terms of the Sixers. I thought you meant when they played them the other night. Was it Simmons only taking 5 shots? I could imagine. Yeah, he only took 5 shots. Yeah, I could imagine that. I mean, here's the thing. In that game, when it's Joel Embiid versus Giannis, and we got a 2-game sample of it, and it's not something to completely go by, but it's pretty significant when they're both scoring over 75 fantasy points every single time they matched up. They're going to soak up the usage in this game. It's a great matchup for Embiid. Brook Lopez is a stretch 5. He is not somebody who is going to defend Joel Embiid, and neither is Giannis, as good as Giannis' defense is. Although Giannis got like 4 blocks on him, he is not going to defend him. And Giannis' matchup against Philadelphia is just that much more perfect, and they both have this fiery rivalry right now going against each other. They're soaking up all the usage. When Milwaukee and Philadelphia play, it's Giannis, it's Embiid. They soak up all the usage. It hurts everybody else on the team. Has not hurt J.J. Redick as much just because he's a spot-up shooter. But Ben Simmons not shooting as much in that game does not surprise me. The first game on the year, they held him down. Even with Bledsoe out, maybe it's a little more surprising. But that has nothing... That has nothing to do with this matchup here today. If Embiid is in, he's going to soak up more of the usage. It's that simple. It makes Simmons a play that I probably don't want to play. If Embiid is out, all the usage is going to go right back to Simmons. In that game, though, when it's Milwaukee and Philly, it's Giannis and it's Embiid hurting the other players on their teams because they are getting the ball. They are the main focal point of every single offensive possession. So him getting 5 points or 5 shots in the last game does not worry me any bit about his performance in this game. If Embiid is in, I would not be shocked if Simmons doesn't take 10 shots again. If Embiid is out, I want all of the Simmons I can get. Love the content, man. Keep doing a good job. Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, I don't know if people saw on Twitter. Some people were liking it. I just made a bunch of shout-out videos to ESPN and like Matthew Berry and the guy from CBS, Chris Towers, just about working opportunities that they have. Probably didn't get me anywhere, but why not? They take 5 minutes to make, and it could get you somewhere, so that's what it's all about. Yeah, Simmons, Joe, yeah. Always a pleasure, Sal, thanks, but yeah, no problem, no bones. If you play any of the slates today, best of luck. Taking the 5 shots, yep. Subscribe to ASMR Mouse. So Kawhi. I have no idea what ASMR mouse is. Do what you got to do. Thoughts on, I don't even know how to say his name, Kabart or whatever his name is. Yeah, I have no thoughts, to be honest with you. He blends in with the rest of the dust. I know he's seen 26 minutes in each of the last 2 games. His price is, what's his price actually? 4,300. That's nice on a slate where there's not a ton of guys down there. Yeah, he's gotten the minutes, right? Seems fine. Like, I really don't have a take on him. He just kind of blends in with the Wayne Seldons of the world for me. His price, though, is cheaper, so that's nicer than Wayne Seldon. Why would you play Wayne Seldon at his price, who is an awful point-per-minute guy, when you have the exact same range, Lamont Jr.? And that's why Lamont Jr. might actually end up being the highest one in the slate when I said Giannis earlier. No real take. I mean, his price is nice for Timothy. Don't even want to try and pronounce his name. 4,300 is fine. He'll see 25-plus minutes, probably closer to 27. Yeah, I don't have like a dire take. If he falls in, it's fine. What's Joe Harris matchup look like? Yeah, Joe Harris is another guy that I talk about in the video, which I should upload it. Joe Harris has been playing 35 minutes. I think 3 out of his last 4, over 30 in 4 straight. He's been the guy getting the minutes. We see also Dinwiddie's minutes are coming down as LeVert's are coming back up. LeVert playing very well, played extremely well in this matchup a couple games back. Harris at $5,100, I'm fine taking. Look, this is what you want to do in a 2-game slate. You want to get the most guaranteed points that you can. Obviously, Sal, you want to do that on every single slate, but hear me out. You want to get the most guaranteed points that you can. That's number 1. And number 2, you want to get the most guaranteed minutes that you can. Because on a 2-game slate, it's very hard to find points. You don't want to be the guy not having a highly owned 40-point guy that day, because it's very rare that you won't need that person to at least even cash on some slates. So guys that are getting minutes, Joe Harris getting mid-30s in minutes, I don't see that changing today. Look, he's a shooter only, so that hurts. But if he's going to have 35 minutes to take up 15 shots, I'll take it. I think his matchup today is fine, especially if Sterling Brown starts. That one-on-one matchup is not something that scares me. Connaughton a little bit better, but he should be coming off the bench. I think Joe Harris is fine. That 5K range is extremely interesting to me. Let me just make this public. The 5K range today on this 2-game slate, we're talking a lot about a 2-game slate, which is fun. There's 40 of you in here. We're chatting around about a 2-game slate. I like it. Let me just answer that question. The 5-game slate, or the 5-game slate, Jesus. This 5K range is super interesting to me, right? Then you can go all the way down to 4,900, where Pat Connaughton's price stays the same. You have Jonah Bolden potentially in play if Embiid's out. Samson, I said at 5K is nice. You have then Joe Harris at 51. Robin Lopez minutes, not as much in play, but again, 51. Seldon is 52, and you have the same price. Or actually, Lamont Jr. is 55. I thought he was 52. So Lamont Jr. is a little bit more expensive. Dinwiddie at 54. And then if you go to 56, you have LeVert. This is where you're going to win today. Does Dinwiddie have a breakout game today and he gets up to 30 minutes and LeVert's go back down? I wouldn't project that. I'm not projecting that. But does that happen? Lamont Jr., does he continue to stay productive, or is this just a small sample? Robin Lopez minutes are coming down. No interest there. Joe Harris minutes are in the mid-30s. Does he get hot today from behind the arc? Samson has been playing great. Does that continue? And if Embiid is out, does that make it even better? This range right here is where you're going to have to pick 2 to 3 guys from. And it's pretty much a dart throw in a lot of these guys. The ones I feel confident about are Lamont Jr. And Samson, which is disgusting saying that. And then it's probably LeVert, based on the minutes, based on the production we're seeing. So that's where I'm at right now. What is the price on Sterling Brown? Is 4,700. So yeah, this whole range right here. And it's crazy that that range is not that far down the entire salary list, right? You're going like 15 players down because there's just nobody on a 2-game slate. Only issue we won't know is if Embiid is out until game time and they have the late game start, so it's going to be a risk. Yeah, much more of a risk on FanDuel. I mean, you could late swap out of that if you really want. You can set yourself up. I know he's a higher priced guy, so you can set yourself up, though, to be completely fine there. You can just swap to Ben Simmons for $1,400 less and then take that $1,400 from whatever dust you were playing on the Chicago side or Philadelphia side, and get up if you want. Really nobody to get up to on Chicago. Their highest price guy is who? Shaq. Highest price guy actually playing today is Shaq at 62. But on Philly, you can get up to Butler if he's in. You can get up to Simmons, Tobias even at 72. Tobias at 72 is going to be interesting today. I think he'll carry very low ownership, just all around. Even if Embiid is in, he's interesting, right? He'll carry very low ownership for a guy who is, look, he's not producing the greatest, but he is still getting 30-plus points and has the 40 to 50-point upside on a slate where you need that. And if you can find low ownership, Tobias becomes interesting, although not a guy I would build around. Tim says, I appreciate you, Sal. Always good stuff. Listen to you every day on the big road. Trucking it up. Nice. Appreciate that, Tim. Thank you. Appreciate the support. But Scott, Reddick, Harrison, and Embiid obviously all took 10-plus shots. I just think he should be taking more shots than Mike Scott. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Mike Scott is going to shoot the 3-ball. He made, 4 threes in that game? We know Ben Simmons isn't going to do that. It would be Ben Simmons driving or shooting closer to the basket in the paint jump shots. And for the most part in this game, that was absolutely controlled by JoJo. I'm not surprised by him only taking 5 shots there in that matchup. I'd be shocked if it happened majority of the time, right? It doesn't happen. But in that matchup, I'm not. Embiid soaks up the entire usage from that team. And Ben Simmons doesn't shoot the 3-ball or doesn't shoot any mid-range shots. So it was mainly Embiid doing everything closer to the rim. Thoughts on George Hill, says Marcus. Yeah, George Hill, another guy who's similar to Sterling Brown. I really don't know what to make of it. The last game doesn't count, right? I mean, it counts. He scored 30-something fantasy points, but that was in a game where Eric Bledsoe was thrown out early. Don't count that. 2 games before that, against Atlanta, doesn't count. The entire team was out. That was a game where 53 minutes were played by goddamn Tim Frazier. All the minutes. I don't know if you guys knew that. Tim Frazier played 53 minutes, every single minute, including overtime in that Hawks game, 3 games back. So you get a sample of George Hill playing. What did George Hill play? You get a sample of George Hill playing 27 minutes against Brooklyn. Now, what happened in this game? I have no idea. We can look at Popcorn Machine. I don't know why he got 27 minutes. He could have just been playing well. But that's the one sample we have. I don't look at this 25 minutes here. That was when nobody was playing. I don't look at this 33 minutes here. That was when Eric Bledsoe never even got going. He played a couple minutes in the first. But then he was pretty much around 20. So I think I have George Hill projected for, 23 minutes today. Look, he's $4,100. He's fine to have, but don't expect this. This was an outlier, or this doesn't even count. Asterisk. This one counts, and it's a 1-game sample. So if you want to go off that 1 game, you can. I feel more comfortable going off of these 5 games where he saw 18 to 20 minutes. I have him projected for 22 or 23. Let's see what I have him projected for. 23, and that should really come down to 22. So I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna put it up to 22, and the only reason it actually comes up for me is because I think Bledsoe is only going to get 32 today instead of a 33 or 34, so that gives an extra 2 minutes to a guy like George Hill. So yeah, those are my thoughts on George Hill. I love Sixers, and I just think 8 to 10 shots would have been better for him. Or been better for me. For Simmons, yeah, I think it was just that game. That's not a concern for me today at all with Simmons. It was just that game. That was the type of game it was. It was a game where you had Mike Scott shooting threes, J.J. Redick was hot from 3, and Ben Simmons was just passing the ball away. Because Embiid's hot in the paint, and you got guys hot on the outside. Mid-range jumper was the only shot Simmons was going to get, and if I had to look at his shot chart of the 5, that's probably where it is. The video is up. At least I think it is. I can talk baseball if people want to do that. I'm not sure if you are the baseball crowd. I know Awesomeo is probably, maybe they're not live yet. Let's check. I was going to say they'll do a damn better job because my baseball knowledge right now, they're starting at 11, it says. Or 3. What is this? This is all over the place. 8 a.m. this one's scheduled for today. That can't be right because that's not yet. This one's 3. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, their baseball knowledge is much better than my baseball knowledge right now. That's for sure. I'm still focused on the NBA and only played opening day baseball, which was a ton of fun. But have not been there yet. I will be playing baseball, though, today. I do have somewhat of a target offense sheet, which is this bad boy right here. It's pretty straightforward. Actually, this is the pitcher's sheet, which is this bad boy right here. It is pretty straightforward. It is salaries. It is their points per game for last year, unless you are Chris Paddock, who has only played once or twice, or Michael Pineda, who didn't play all of last year. It is how good compared to the average the other team was at hitting last year because we still only have a week sample. I will probably put in after next week this year's numbers or the week after. It has Vegas's stuff. It has the home field, and the reason that's important is it a hitter-friendly park or a pitcher-friendly park? Based on the average, you have that. If it's over 1, it is more hitter-friendly, I believe. If it's under 1, it is more pitcher. Conditions, all the games today are like in the high 50s to high 60s. They're all fine. No precipitation. And then you have some pitching stats. I think pitching matters the most in baseball. Like, I don't know if you guys are the baseball crowd. I'll continue to talk about whichever sport you want. The video is up. I'm just doing this now for fun. But in terms of baseball, I think pitching matters. I think that knowing how to find the value pitcher on that day and then getting the lineup that has the best overall matchup in terms of stacking is the way to go, and that's just the way that I'll be playing baseball. Probably lose majority of the time, but it's fine. Do you know what they mean when they mention ISO on players? Yeah, ISO is right here. This is your ISO. I can't remember now. ISO is like slugging minus something. Let's look it up. This shows you how much I'm actually involved in. Baseball right now. I believe it's like slugging minus something. ISO measures the raw power of a hitter. The formula: extra base hits divided by at bats. Yeah, so slugging minus batting average. So that's what it is. That's what I thought it was. Slugging minus batting average. So that's what ISO means. It just kind of takes into account how much more you are getting those extra like base hits, so like doubles, triples, home runs. So it's just better. Obviously, more home runs is better, but it also just kind of factors out your singles, your walks, your outs. So it just subtracts your batting average. Mainly factoring out singles, I guess that would be. Hey Sal, do you ever mess with tiers? Thoughts on those? No, I don't. I think tiers are fine. I was under the assumption for a while that tiers was just you pick a player in that tier, and if you don't get it, you don't get the points, but you still get their points, I guess. So they all add up. No, tiers I played like once or twice. No real interest right now for me. I think it's very projection based. So in the NBA, it's fine. If there is MLB tiers, I think you're just throwing a wrench at a wall, if that even makes sense. It's just hard to project night to night MLB players actually doing something. Everybody always says it. Mike Trout can go 0 for 4 today. No problem, Solomon. So for me in tiers, I think NBA makes sense to play tiers because it's a lot more projectable. I just haven't played personally. Big reason why is the prize pools just aren't there in my opinion. What is the best tiers prize pools? Like $1,000 or $1,500. If I'm gonna knock down a tournament and put a lot of time into it, I want to be paid more than I would if I finished like 20th in a bigger tournament for the NBA. All right, that might be it. If you guys, the girls, have any more questions, you could just let me know them now. Otherwise, that's probably it. Yeah, I think I'm going to end this. 38 minutes. I don't know how these always go so long. All I'm waiting for is this stuff to upload. I'm going to go on a run or something. Could use that. All right. Yeah, NBA tiers, Eric. Yeah, I think they're more viable than probably any other sport since it's more projection-based, but I haven't played much. I mean, they'll probably be fine. They'll also probably be pretty fun. I haven't played much, so I don't really speak on it. Again, it's just the prize pool. Prize pools, to me, probably aren't that great. We can look right now. Lori, do you like Ed Davis? Yeah, on a 2-game slate, Ed Davis definitely on FanDuel as a punt. He played great, right? He played great the last time against Milwaukee. Jared Allen just could not keep up with his stretch and Brook Lopez. Yeah, I think Ed Davis is fine. NBA, Rolo. Yeah, Brook Lopez, or Robin Lopez. I'd rather Brook Lopez by a pretty wide margin. Robin Lopez minutes are coming down significantly. And I know this is a 2-game slate, so this is an awful one to look at because the prize pools are going to be significantly lower than they usually will be. 3K to first, that's pretty interesting. So maybe there are decent prize pools. But I'm competing with 4,000 people for 3K to first. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not in here. And you can multi-enter these? Jesus Christ. How many different combinations of people can you have? 107 entries. Can't you soak up all of them? Jesus Christ. What is this tiered shit? 4, 4, 4. Okay, now you got more 6. Okay, I was going to say, you can put 104 entries into this son of a gun for $500. How can you not? That's pretty crazy. Is it too much of a secret to say your score when you do hit? I'm curious as to what a good score in the $100 single entry is. It's different every night. Last night, you had to have like 350 or 340 plus. 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago, when I played pretty well, I had 290 and I was in the top 5. It really depends on the night. It's going to be very similar to a lot of other cash lines. The only thing you're going to be more sure of or more not as susceptible or just more secure with is when Alex Caruso or somebody from last night who was lower owned in a bigger tournament, and lower owned meaning like 10% or lower, those guys are not going to pop up in single entries where the pros are, because they are actually bad plays. Like if they go off, it's because of pure luck. It's not because that they are a great player. They just hit their ceiling at a very small clip. So, I mean, the exact scores, I'm not positive. I'm really not. It's different on every single night. Like yesterday, the 333 was won with like a 401 score. But 2 nights ago, it was won with like a 323 score. So it's really pretty similar to the rest of the slate, I would imagine. The bigger tournament yesterday was won with like a 430. 2 nights ago, it was won with like a 370. So it's pretty similar in terms of like if there's a big score that night on the main slate, it'll probably happen in there. You just don't have to continuously score 370 in a 25 to 100 person field, because you don't. There are not going to be as many players being owned. Like if on a 2-game slate tonight, how should I say this? If on a 2-game slate, it's a big main slate, that 50K prize pool, every single player will be owned for the most part that sees minutes. On a 27-man field, you're going to get a very small amount of ownership on players. People be making 50 lineups on tiers and be hitting because they can fit everybody, bunch of nerds. Elvin. Yeah, I just said that. They can make 104 lineups on tiers. How can you not just build a lineup that fits almost everybody, right? I mean, I know you multiply each single one and you can't, like, whatever it is, the permutation math, I don't know. But, yeah, it seems like you can at least have a very good advantage over other people. All right, I'm out of here. That was 42 minutes on a 2-game slate, just chatting, whatever other bogus. Peace out. Peace out, peace out, peace out.